start with the Fletcher Henderson program as people are still filing in, and so I have a few minutes. It's been a wonderful day of music, and we have one more day coming, and it's always an exciting day on Sunday with the close of the festival, but then we get all excited and anticipating the next one for next year. So what I'd like to start with is just a little bit of information about this particular set, and the meaning of it, and why we're doing this. I am honored to be here tonight in place of Klaus Jacobe, and I was asked to do the set. He had prepared all the music, and Michael came to me and asked if I could do the Henderson set, and I said I'd be very honored to do that. And last year, Klaus made a trip to Davenport, and he had never been to Bix's hometown, and I said, well, please come. We have the Bix Festival, please come, play with my group, let's give you the whole Bix experience. And so he was able to come to Davenport, and I took him to all of the sites around Davenport, and he had the Grand Bix tour all around Davenport, and he's like, I cannot believe I'm here in Davenport witnessing Bix Beiderbecke and the house and everything. He said, this is just, he goes, I've always wanted to do this. And we took him to a restaurant that night, which was called the Iowa Machine Shed. And the plate came out in front of him, and it was just a huge plate of food. And he goes, I will not be able to finish all of this. He goes, but it looks really, really good. And I'm really glad that we had that time, because when the festival starts, we're all just kind of running around as musicians. We don't get a chance to talk, and that's why when you see us hanging out at the pub afterwards, that's a chance for us to visit, because we're all really trying to give you the best performance all weekend long. So that was the time for me to really sit with Klaus and with my family. He had never met my son before. He had met my wife Crystal, so it was a chance to see us as a family as well. And it was a neat side to see him and talk about his family, which I had never known about him. And because when we're here, we're focused on the music. And I know that Anka's here with her family members this evening. And so that's what's really important about this festival. It is like a family reunion. We are all family. And all of us knew Klaus, and it's a way to keep his memory and his legacy going is with this music and what we are doing here. It's the same vision that Keith had, and Franz and Klaus. We're all keeping this music going because we've all met them, played their music, and this music is written down and will last for lifetimes now. And that's what makes this really, really important. So Fletcher Henderson was one of the bands that he absolutely loved. And when he formed this group, this is the musicians that he selected for the group. And when I was asked to lead it, they said, well, you could actually drum if you want, but I'm like, no, Nick Ball is the expert at Kaiser Marshall. He needs to be there playing all that. So I'll be doing a few of the percussion items on Rocky Mountain Blues with him, because we'll have some fun with that, but he's going to be the one leading the way. And it's weird for me, I just get to count the musicians in and then let them play this incredible music that you're going to be hearing this evening. So a little bit of the information about Fletcher Henderson, because I wanted to write it down and make sure that we had all the correct details, because I knew it'd just be a really highly emotional night with all this music here. James Fletcher Hamilton Henderson was born on December 18, 1897 in Cuthbert, Georgia, and passed away on December 29, 1952 in New York, New York. And so a lot of people don't know that his name was James Fletcher Hamilton Henderson. What we have tonight is something spectacular, and that's Andy Schumm on tenor saxophone, playing the role of Coleman Hawkins. Not to call you out. But a couple interesting facts, again, about the Henderson Band, because there's some great books out there. You can spend time reading that, because I know you want to get to the music and get to the pub and keep the party going here. But Coleman Hawkins started performing with Henderson in 1923, playing tuba parts on a bass saxophone and quickly moving to tenor saxophone and a leading solo role. Besides Roseland, the Henderson Band played at the Savoy Ballroom until 3:30 in the morning when they would play there. When the band split in 1934, Fletcher was forced to sell some of his popular arrangements to Benny Goodman to keep them together. Henderson's shoulder was injured in 1928. His wife blamed the accident for his diminishing success. She said John Hammond and Goodman bought Henderson's arrangements to support him, and that Goodman always gave Henderson credit for the arrangements and said that he played them better than his own band. Goodman and Hammond organized broadcasts and recordings to help Henderson, who was ill at the time. Henderson suffered a stroke in 1950, which resulted in partial paralysis that ended his career as a pianist. He died 11 days before his 55th birthday. And as Louis Metcalf said, which I thought this was a really neat fact about the band, The sight of Fletcher Henderson's men playing behind music stands brought on a learning to read music kick in Harlem which hadn't cared before it. There were 2 years of real concentration, and everybody greeted you with, "How's studying?" Which I thought was really cool, because these guys were reading charts just like the band is doing tonight here. So we're going to start off the program with a song from 1925. It was recorded on October 21st. In the band was Louis Armstrong, Don Redman, Coleman Hawkins, Buster Bailey, Kaiser Marshall, and Fletcher Henderson was directing. No pressure, guys. I'm just counting you in. You're the ones playing it. But I know I'm not technically vintage now with having my phone. However, I want everything to be record tempo. So I am having a metronome on here. So when I count them in, it is at the tempo of the record correctly. So there's no ifs, ands, or buts. The tempo is there. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's entitled TNT from 1925 there. So that was a transcription that was done by Keith Nichols that Klaus was able to get to put into the Henderson set here. So we're going to jump to 1926 for the next one here. At this point, Louis Armstrong was out of the Henderson band, and they had Henderson at the piano at this point, as well as Russell Smith, Joe Smith, and Tommy Latner on trumpets. Bye-bye. So we still have Coleman Hawkins in the group, so Andy's still going to be on stage here, so yeah, you're not going anywhere for a while now. So, from December 8, 1926, this is entitled Hot Mustard. 4 and 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. concert for 1926. So you can really hear that Henderson sound, so it's absolutely brilliant to hear it there. Now we're going to jump to 1927, January 21st for the next song. Don Redman is the arranger for this. Coleman Hawkins again still in the band, so Andy's still going to be working. I'm going to be saying that a lot tonight, aren't I? You hanging in there? Good, that's great. All right, and of course with Kaiser Marshall for the drum part. This is where Nick and I are going to have some fun with this next one here. And I get to do some of the vocals for the chart as well. So again, from 1927, here is Rocky Mountain Blues. One, two. Here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. So there we are, Rocky Mountain Blues. Fun to play that. I'm going to take a second to introduce our reed section, just to give them a little bit of a break here. So doing a fantastic job. I know I've mentioned him quite a bit, but multi-instrumentalist and just doing a fabulous job, coming off the big set and now sounding like Coleman Hawkins on tenor sax. Always a pleasure whenever I get a chance to perform with him in Chicago. We have Andy Schumm on tenor sax. Yeah. Met him many years ago, always a joy to hear him at the festival here and see him on stage performing with everybody on alto sax and clarinet. We have Jean-François Bonnel. Yeah. And been lighting the festival up with some of the best Benny Goodman clarinet I have ever heard in my lifetime. Real treat having him on stage on alto sax and clarinet. We have Lorenzo Baldasso. Yeah. We're going to take the tempo down by 1 click, roughly, for this next one. This is from 1927, April 27th of 1927. There was 3 takes done of this next track. We're just going to do our own version. I know people like, which take you're going to do. You can have whatever number you like. Just pull out a hat, 1, 2, or 3, and we'll play that one for you for sure, so in your imagination. So here is the St. Louis Shuffle. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. All right, so with 1927, one bit of information with the Fletcher Henderson band that is important is that by this time they have already done their big band battle with the Gene Goldkett Orchestra that took place in 1926. And you're going to start hearing a few titles that have that Bix connection. The next one we're going to be playing, as well as one coming up, Goose, Pimples. And so again, from Frank Trumbauer Library, but they were really influenced with the Goldkett band. So much that Don Redman and Bill Challis, the bands were switching arrangements, as again the story goes at Roseland. When they were doing this battle and the Goldkett band did My Pretty Girl, the Henderson band had never heard anything like it before, and they loved what Bill Challis was doing. And that started giving Don Redman a lot of new ideas for the Henderson band. So that was a neat thing to happen for that relationship with the musicians. So this version is way different, again, from the version of the Trumbauer Orchestra. So you kind of have to get that out of your mind when you hear it. The tempo is a lot quicker, because I think we're doing I'm from Virginia, if I have that right. Yeah. Okay. Instead of looking at the band, they're looking like deer in the headlights. So, okay. But at this point on this particular session, Fat Swaller was on piano, was not Fletcher Henderson. So we have the great Fat Swaller with Andrew Oliver behind us here, so who's going to do a fabulous job with this. But this was the same session as the Whiteman Stomp, which is another one of their big hits for the band there. So with that, here we are with I'm Coming, Virginia. Okay, so one bar. And 1, 2, 3, 4. Take a second to introduce the brass section as we're getting the next song up here. So we're going to start down with the trombone section. Just heard them on a beautiful muted solo, their plunger solo. We have Graham Hughes on trombone. And making his first appearance here in Whitley Bay, he is absolutely brilliant on that trombone, and the ideas he has are fabulous, but one of the nicest guys you can ever meet as well. We have Charlie Halloran on trombone. In our trumpet section, the way Klaus had distributed the parts is that each one gets to play a first, a second, or a third. So they get to kind of bounce the parts around there, which makes it fun for those guys too, so they can relax, and I know Rico loves that. Right, Rico?
Yeah.
That's right. But all three of these gentlemen are fantastic players, and I'll start with, right to my left here, Torstein Kubben on trumpet. Originally from the Detroit area, so has that history with Goldcat and McKinney's band and all that, and now in New York City. Fabulous player, Jon-Erik Kellso on trumpet. And last but certainly not least, one of the favorites here at the festival, always smiling, everybody loves him, the great Enrico Tomasso. All right, so the next song we're going to stay in 1927, go to November 4th. So here we are. Monday is going to be the anniversary date of this recording back from 1927. Pretty cool with that. But we're going to play the song Hop Off for you. And this one is the same session as A Rhythmic Dream, which we'll be playing later, so you can hear the contrast. So remember this, and we play A Rhythmic Dream, think, wow, these guys really had to shift gears between songs here and styles. So, but here we are with Hop Off, 1927.
One, two, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
How about a hand for Spats Langham on the great Spats Langham? Twice, that's right. All right, now we're going to jump to 1928, so we're just moving up by a year here. December 12th of 1928. By this time, Rex Stewart and Bobby Stark were in the band, as well as Benny Carter is now with the Henderson band. And guess what? Coleman Hawkins is still with the band. There you go, Andy. You're doing great. So here is the title, Easy Money.
1 bar 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Lorenzo Baldasso on that last note. Lorenzo steal for that one. All right, now we're going to go back to 1927 for this next one. And this is one that Klaus had transcribed because he had talked to Andy about it. And again, it has that Bix connection, and Andy and him were corresponding through emails. And it's a great, great version. We all know the Frank Trumbauer version and with the connection, but for this next one, it's the same session as Black Maria and Baltimore that this was also recorded on, and it was October 24th of 1927. So here's the Fletcher Henderson version of Goose, Pimples.
One, two, 1, 2, 3.
take a second to introduce the rhythm section for the last part of the group here. So directly behind me has been Goose, a fantastic piano player from the West Coast there, and always a pleasure getting to perform with them. And he'll have his solo piano set tomorrow night with Nick Ball, so you don't want to miss that as well. So we have Andrew Oliver on piano. The next gentleman has known me since I was 16 years old back in Davenport, and that's where I first met him when I heard Spats Langham and the Rhythm Boys with Mike Durham leading the band there in the balmy 102-degree heat of Davenport, Iowa, so during the summer. So we were talking about that before the festival even started. So that's right, he nearly fainted 1 of 2 times. So this is the other time, right? Yeah. That's right. But we have the great Thomas Spats Langham on banjo. He's been laying down that low end on tuba all weekend. Such a solid player, but also, again, a great guy, super nice, and I love getting a chance to sit next to him and play. We have Phil Rutherford on tuba. And last but not least, with being the percussionist and all that, so my dear friend for so many years, it's so great to see him and Rosalie and Emily and their beautiful family, but hear him behind the drums as well. My good friend Nick Ball behind the drums. So this next one has 3 takes as well, so again, pick your take, and that's one you'll get for this one. From 1927, April 27th of 27, here is Variety Stomp.
Extra note before A, right? Yep. 1, 2, 1. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
few songs left in the set here. I know we're just about the hour, but we want to finish all the set out here and do all this music that Klaus had here. So it's all exciting. Are you having a good time this night? That's so great. So hopefully those of you that this is your first time at the festival, you're seeing how exciting this is. And I'm genuine when I talk like this. This is not like an act or anything. I love this music. I've loved it since I've been 16 years old. I was made fun of at times in high school because I dressed like this. But this is who I am. This is the music that I love. And so when I'm here surrounded with everybody having the same good time that I'm having, it's like, yes, this is how it should be all the time. So this festival is truly special, and that's why your support is just wonderful. So thank you for that. So April 1st, 1929, Harvey Boone replaced Benny Carter on this particular session, and it's the same session as Freeze and Melt. So if you know that song, this is the same session as that. So here is Raisin the Roof.
All right, here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
All right, we say 1927, again, November 4th. So as I mentioned, the anniversary is coming up for this song as well. This is entitled A Rhythmic Dream. So when you're listening to it, it's going to seem very out there, not like things that you've heard tonight. So, and they are playing it correct, by the way. So that's right. But this is a Don Lindley arrangement. So it's not Don Redman, it's a Don Lindley arrangement that was done for the Henderson Band. So here are from 1927, A Rhythmic Dream.
So one bar of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
We've come to our final song for the program for this Fletcher Henderson set, but can you all help me in thanking this wonderful group of musicians on stage? We just had a rehearsal this morning, and everybody played it beautifully then, and we're even raising the bar even more tonight, so which is great. So, and I know we're all doing it for Klaus as well. So with all this music, so he picked some great music, that's for sure, all the time. Every set that he ever planned out was just spot on, and it was exciting. And the one thing I was missing, again, with this festival is how he would always count songs in. So even if I was in the band or not in the band, you just hear that voice of Klaus, and you just do that 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. And it just got you going, and it hits you right in the heart every time that you'd hear him do that. And even if you weren't ready through music, he'd still count in and let you go. So we loved it. We loved him absolutely so much. So, but as I said, the music will be his legacy that will live on through many bands all around the world now, so which has been distributed. And that's what he really wanted, was that music to carry on like this. And he did a phenomenal job with it. So, and again, a big thank you to Patty and to Jonathan and Michael and Klaus for having the festival and having these ideas come to fruition and come to life. So this doesn't happen everywhere in the world. So when we go back to the States, we're like, oh, we got to go back to playing now. Here we go. Because when we're here, we're living a dream for 3 days. And then when we get off the plane, it's like wake up to reality, and here's a TSA agent ready to go through our bags at Border Patrol. So then we're off into the real world again. But this really is a dream, being here for the weekend. So we have one more day of that dream, so make it everything that you can, and just live that last day and make it exciting. So we're going to close our set with the last song that Klaus had planned out from May 16th of 1929. And after this, we will see you all in the pub for a great jam. So here is the Wang Wang Blues.
Here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, the Fletcher Henderson Orchestra. Thank you so much. We will see you in the pub and take you past the facilities for a wonderful session. Thank you.